Introduction: The myth of linear time. Have you ever had that strange, fleeting yet unmistakable feeling that you have lived this moment before? That déjà vu that paralyzes you for a second while you sip your morning coffee? Or perhaps you have had the unsettling certainty that at some crossroads in your past you made the wrong decision. You feel a kind of phantom pain for a life you didn't live, but that you know was destined for you. You feel that there is a version of yourself that is happier, richer, or freer, and that they are living that wonderful life just on the other side of an invisible wall. I have news that could destabilize everything you think you know about reality, but which at the same time will give you absolute freedom. That sensation is not imagination. It is an echo. You are listening to the echo of a parallel timeline. That other life you feel you missed has not been lost. It did not disappear into the ether of failed possibilities. That life exists. It is happening right now, and the version of you who is living it is just as real as the version who is listening to this audiobook right now. Welcome to Timeline Jump. For centuries, we have been sold a fundamental lie. We have been taught that time is an arrow that moves in only one direction, from the past to the future. We have been taught that life is a straight line, a one-way street where missed opportunities are left behind forever, and where the future is an unknown that we must build with blood, sweat, and tears. They have told us work hard today to succeed tomorrow. They have told us accept your reality. But modern quantum physics, from the many worlds interpretation to unified field theories, suggests something much stranger and more fascinating. Reality is not a line. Reality is a menu. The universe is not a path. It is an infinite building. Imagine for a moment that your life is a gigantic skyscraper. You are currently living on floor 1. On this floor 1, perhaps you have debts. Perhaps your romantic relationship is mediocre. Perhaps your health is not the best. You look out the window and see a grey landscape. You have been taught that if you want to improve, you have to renovate floor 1. You have to paint the walls, change the furniture, work overtime to fix the leaks. It is an exhausting, slow, and painful job. You spend your life fighting against the structure of floor 1. But what if I told you that on floor 50 of that same building, a luxury apartment with your name on the door already exists? On that floor 50, you are a biologically identical version of you are a millionaire. You are healthy. You are deeply in love. That floor is already built. It has light. It has furniture. The refrigerator is full. You don't have to build it. You don't have to lay a single brick. All you have to do is call the elevator. The problem of humanity is not a lack of resources. The problem is that humanity has stayed with its finger stuck on the button for floor 1, convinced that it is the only floor that exists, while the elevator waits with its doors open. This audiobook is not about personal development. Personal development implies that there is something wrong with you that you must fix. It implies that you must build a better version of yourself, brick by brick, year after year. That is slow. That is linear. That is obsolete. This audiobook is about quantum selection. We are not going to fix your current reality. We are going to abandon it. We are going to teach you to walk toward the elevator, press the button for floor 50, and make the jump. I know what you are thinking. It sounds like science fiction. It sounds like magic. But think about this. When you are listening to the radio in your car and a song you hate comes on, your current reality of problems, do you try to get inside the radio to rewrite the sheet music for the song? Do you try to yell at the announcer to change the music? Do you try to take the device apart to fix it? No, that would be ridiculous. You simply turn the dial. You change the frequency. The moment you switch from 90.5 FM to 100.0 FM, the sad song disappears instantly and a happy song begins to play. Did the sad song disappear? No. It is still playing on 90.5, but you are no longer there. You have withdrawn your consciousness from that frequency and tuned it to another that was always there, playing in parallel, waiting for you to choose it. Your life is a radio. Your emotions are the dial. All possible versions of your future exist right now in the quantum field, broadcasting on different frequencies. The frequency of poverty is playing. The frequency of wealth is playing. The frequency of illness is playing. The frequency of spontaneous healing is playing. You don't have to create wealth. You cannot create what already exists. You just have to tune into it. The suffering you experience today is nothing more than the result of having the dial stuck on a drama station. You have become so accustomed to the static noise that you believe that is the only music that exists. In the following chapters, I am going to give you the instruction manual for your own cosmic radio. We will stop talking about effort and start talking about alignment. You will learn that time is a persistent illusion. You will understand that the past is not written in stone, but changes every time you change your present. You will discover the quantum double technique, how to communicate with those versions of you who have already achieved what you desire, to ask them to give you the coordinates of their location. You will learn to read the synchronization signals, those repeated numbers, those impossible coincidences as if they were the GPS indicating that you are approaching the jump. But I warn you, making a timeline jump has a price. The price is your old identity. You cannot go up to floor 50 carrying the old dirty suitcases from floor 1. To jump to the reality where you are abundant, you have to let go of the identity of victim of the economy. To jump to the reality where you are loved, you have to let go of the story of I am always abandoned. Physics does not allow two contradictory realities to occupy the same space. To tune in to the new station, you have to stop listening to the old one. You are about to embark on the most mind-blowing journey a human being can experience. We are not going to travel to Mars. We are not going to travel to the other side of the world. We are going to travel through the dimensions of your own consciousness. We are going to navigate the multiverse. Look around you for a moment. Look at the room you are in. Look at your bank account. Look at your current problems. Say goodbye to them. Not with hatred, but with the indifference of someone abandoning a hotel room they no longer like. Tell them, thank you for the experience, but my stay here is over. I have booked a suite on the top floor. The elevator door is opening. The music is changing. Do you feel that tingling in your stomach? It is not fear, it is the vibration of your frequency elevating. It is the signal that you are about to jump. Chapter 1, The Infinite Menu. All options exist now. Imagine you walk into the most luxurious and exclusive restaurant in the world. The hall is infinite. The tables disappear into the horizon. The decor is exquisite. You sit down at the table, and the impeccably dressed waiter approaches with a smile and hands you the menu. You open the menu. It is a thick, heavy book. You start reading and realize that everything is on that menu. And when I say everything, I mean everything. There is the dish of unlimited wealth with a side of freedom. There is the dish of vibrant health and infinite energy. There is the dish of passionate and loyal love. But also on the last pages are the dishes no one should want: chronic debt, bitter loneliness, work stress, and illness. The restaurant has one golden rule. The kitchen is magical and instantaneous. What you order is served to you. There is no shortage of ingredients. There is no waiting for tomatoes to grow. The dish is already prepared in the kitchen, simply waiting for the order to arrive to be brought to the table. Now observe what most people do, and what you have probably been doing until today. You enter the restaurant, you are hungry for success, you are hungry for love. But instead of sitting down, opening the menu and ordering the dish of success, you get up from the chair. You roll up your sleeves. You panic. You run to the back of the restaurant, go out to the garden, grab a shovel and start digging the earth under the scorching sun. You start trying to grow your own tomatoes. You start trying to raise your own cow for meat. You sweat, you bleed, you get exhausted, and while you dig, you look through the restaurant window and see people sitting down enjoying the banquet. And you shout, "It's unfair. Why do they have food, and I have to suffer so much to get a miserable salad? Life is a struggle. I have to work harder." The waiter looks at you from the window with the dish of royal banquet in hand, waiting for you to sit down. But you are too busy creating your food to receive it. Welcome to the infinite menu theory. The fundamental error that has kept you trapped in a small, limited life is the belief in linear creation. We have been taught that reality is something that does not exist until we manufacture it with effort. They have told us, if you want to be rich, you have to build your wealth from scratch. If you want health, you have to fight against illness. This mindset assumes that the universe is a void, a blank canvas where you, with your small brush and little paint, have to paint a masterpiece. That is exhausting. And according to quantum physics, it is false. Reality is not a blank canvas. Reality is a complete art gallery. All the paintings are already painted. All possible versions of your life already exist. They are not potentials. They are not fantasies. They are physical realities that are happening right now on frequencies parallel to yours. To understand this, we have to talk about the many worlds interpretation by physicist Hugh Everett. This theory suggests that every time a quantum event has different possible outcomes, all of them occur. Every time you make a decision, the universe bifurcates. In one timeline, you accepted that job abroad. In another, you stayed home. In one line, you said, "I love you." In another, you remained silent. In one line, you invested in Bitcoin in 2010. In another, you thought it was a scam. What does this mean for you today? It means that right now, in this precise second, a version of you exists who took all the right decisions. That successful you is not a dream. It is a biological being with your same DNA, your same face, and your same name, who is living in a spectacular house, who has the body you desire and the peace of mind you crave. That successful you is eating in the restaurant while you are digging in the garden. Destiny engineering, the old paradigm, would tell you, let's build that house brick by brick. The timeline jump, the new paradigm, tells you, let's move your consciousness from the body of the digger to the body of the eater. You don't have to create money. The money is already created. It is in the bank account of your timeline 504 self. You don't have to create health. Health is already in the cells of your timeline 802 self. Your job is not to manufacture. Your job is to tune in. Your job is to select. Imagine your life as a gigantic television set with infinite channels. Right now you are watching Channel 1, the channel of drama and scarcity. You see it in HD. The sound is immersive. It seems very real. But on Channel 500 they are broadcasting the life of your dreams. That program is broadcasting right now. The radio waves of that channel are passing through your body at this instant. But you don't see them. You don't hear them. Why? Because your internal tuner is locked on Channel 1. And as long as you keep believing that you have to get inside the TV to fix the cables and change the script of Channel 1, it will never occur to you to pick up the remote and simply switch to Channel 500. Suffering is optional. Suffering is simply the side effect of being obsessed with a channel you don't like. The universe is an infinite Amazon catalog. Can you imagine going to Amazon, seeing a product you like and saying, "I'm going to manufacture it myself in my garage"? No, you click Buy Now, and you trust the logistics to bring it to you. Quantum selection is that click. It is the act of saying, "I renounce this version of reality. I know a better version is available. I choose it. I claim it. It is mine." By adopting this mindset, the pressure disappears. You no longer have to make it happen. You just have to let it find you. You go from being an exhausted builder to being a sovereign selector. Life stops being an uphill struggle and becomes a game of exploration, a game of what do I want to live today? But here arises the inevitable question, if it's as easy as choosing from the menu, why am I still eating scraps? Why am I still trapped in poverty and loneliness if I have already asked 1,000 times to be rich and happy? There is the trap. You think you have ordered the banquet, but at the quantum level you are still ordering scraps. You think you have pressed the button for floor 50, but your finger is still glued to the button for floor 1. The problem is not that the menu doesn't exist. The problem is that you don't know how to read the language of the menu. The problem is that you are observing scarcity with such intensity that you keep it frozen in place. The observer paradox, why you look at what you hate. We have already established that the banquet exists, that the millionaire self exists. So why aren't you in their shoes? Why do you wake up every morning in the same bed with the same worries and the same bank account? The answer lies in the quantum mechanics of observation. In physics, there is a phenomenon called wave function collapse. Basically, reality exists as a cloud of possibilities, waves, until a conscious observer looks at it. The moment you look at it, the wave freezes and turns into a solid particle, matter. Your attention is the glue of reality. What you observe, you solidify. Here is the tragedy. You spend the day observing what you do not want. You get up and the first thing you do is look at your bank balance and worry. You are observing poverty. You collapse the wave of poverty. You create more solid poverty. You look in the mirror and criticize your body. You are observing the defect. You collapse the wave of the defect. The defect persists. You talk with your friends about how bad the country is. You are observing the chaos. You solidify the chaos. You live in a negative feedback loop. You look at your current reality, flaw 1, and say, "This is real. Look, I can touch it. I have bills. It's real." And by validating it as real, you anchor it. You tell the universe, "I like this. Keep it there. Keep broadcasting this channel." The universe is an obedient server. If you keep your eyes, your attention on the problem, the universe understands that the problem is your priority and gives you more of the same in high definition. To make the timeline jump, you have to do something that goes against all your logical and evolutionary programming. You have to learn to ignore the current reality. You have to understand that what you see with your physical eyes is not the truth. It is the past. Starlight takes years to reach us. When you look at the sky, you see the past. Your current reality, your debts, your loneliness, your body, is the light of your past thoughts and vibrations that has just arrived in matter. It is residue. It is an empty shell. It is the smoke trail of a fire that has already been extinguished. If you keep reacting to your current reality, you are driving by looking in the rearview mirror. You will crash into the same thing over and over. The quantum selector learns to withdraw their attention from what is to put it obsessively on what they choose to be. This is called quantum denial. It is not madness, it is strategy. When an unpaid bill arrives, don't ignore it physically, pay it, but ignore it emotionally. Don't let it collapse your wave. Tell yourself, "This is residue from my old timeline. This does not belong to my new reality. It is just an echo, it has no power over me." By withdrawing the emotional load, fear, anger, you stop feeding the hologram of flaw 1. And when you stop feeding a hologram, it starts to flicker. It starts to fade. The solidity of your problems softens, and at the same time, you start to put your radical attention on the reality of flaw 50. But not as a distant fantasy, that is the future, but as a present memory. You have to start remembering your future. How does your flaw 50 self feel right now? What are they having for dinner? How do they walk? What perfume do they wear? What level of tranquility do they have in their chest? The moment you connect with that sensation, you are not imagining. You are bilocating. You are sending a consciousness probe into that parallel reality. You are establishing a bridge. The infinite menu does not work with words, "I want to be rich." It works with vibrational coordinates. Your emotion is the GPS. If you feel frustrated, your coordinates are timeline scarcity. If you feel grateful and relieved, your coordinates are timeline abundance. You cannot cheat the system. You cannot be on floor 1 shouting that you are rich while trembling with fear inside. The system reads the tremor, not the shout. This is where the concept of fluid identity comes in. To jump timelines, you have to be willing to die. Not physically die, but psychologically die. Your current identity, I am John, the one who struggles to make ends meet. I am Maria, the one who has bad luck in love, is an anchor. It is a lead suit that keeps you at the bottom of the sea. You cannot go up to the surface, floor 50, with that suit. You have to undress. You have to be willing to let go of your victim story. You have to be willing for your friends not to recognize you. You have to be willing to feel strange, like an actor who has just changed roles halfway through the play. The jump requires audacity. It requires the audacity to sit in the universe's restaurant, close the menu, look the waiter in the eye, and say, "Take this dish of scraps away. I know you have lobster in the kitchen. Bring it to me. And no, I will not pay for it with suffering. I will pay for it with my certainty." Chapter 2. The Cosmic Radio, Your Signature Frequency. Imagine you're driving your car down a long, lonely road. You feel like listening to classical music to relax. You turn on the radio, but the dial is tuned to 90.5 FM, and that station is playing heavy metal at full volume. The noise is unbearable. It stresses you out. You get a headache. You shout, "I hate this music. I want Mozart. Please, universe, bring me Mozart." You hit the dashboard. You start crying. You write in your diary, "I deserve to listen to classical music." You visualize yourself listening to violins, but the radio keeps spitting out distorted screams and guitars. Why? Because shouting doesn't change the frequency, because wishing doesn't move the dial. As long as the radio's internal tuner remains on the 90.5 position, it is physically impossible for you to pick up the 104.0 signal where Mozart is playing. It's not that Mozart isn't playing, he is there. The waves are hitting your car's antenna right now, but your receiver is not compatible with that signal. Welcome to the physics of the cosmic radio. For years, you have been sold a sweetened version of the law of attraction. They told you, ask and it shall be given to you. They lied to you. Or at least, they gave you the incomplete version. The law of attraction is secondary. The primary law is the law of resonance. The universe is not a genie in a lamp who judges whether you have been good or whether you wish for something very strongly. The universe is an impartial quantum mirror. The mirror has no opinion. The mirror simply reflects what you put in front of it. If you stand in front of the mirror with an angry face and shout "smile," the mirror will return an image of you shouting. For the mirror to smile back at you, you have to smile first. This is where the concept of your signature frequency comes in. You are a walking transmission tower. Every atom in your body is vibrating. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that can be measured meters away. Your brain emits electric waves. The combination of your thoughts, electric charge, and your emotions, magnetic charge, creates your emission signal. That signal is your signature. It is your energetic barcode. The universe reads that barcode and sends you the reality that matches it. And here is the death trap. You think you are emitting desire for wealth, but what your body is feeling is fear of poverty. Your mind says, "I want €1,000,000, thought." But your stomach has a knot, your chest is tight, and your breathing is shallow, emotion of scarcity. Who wins? Emotion always wins. Emotion is the magnetic motor. So your real energetic signature is scarcity. And the universe, obedient, scans the catalogue, finds experiences of unpaid bills and money loss, and sends them to you, because that is what you are screaming for with your vibration. You cannot tune in to the reality of timeline 50, wealth, health, if your internal radio is stuck on the frequency of floor 1, lack, illness. They are vibrationally incompatible. It is like trying to watch a digital television channel on a 1950s tube radio. You do not have the hardware to decode the signal. Most people live in a state of incoherence. They think one thing and feel another. They think, "I want love." They feel, "I am not worthy." They think, "I want health." They feel fear of pain. This incoherence creates a static signal, a white noise. The universe does not know what to send you, so it sends you chaos or keeps you stuck in the familiar. To make the timeline jump, you have to master the art of tuning the dial. You have to learn to feel the emotion of the future before the event occurs. This breaks standard human logic. Human logic says, "When I win the lottery, I will feel abundant." External cause, internal effect. Quantum logic says, "When I feel abundant, I will win the lottery." Internal cause, external effect. You have to hack the radio. You have to force your body to vibrate at the frequency of classical music while your physical ears still hear heavy metal. If you manage to maintain that vibration long enough, the external reality, the heavy metal, will cut out suddenly. There will be a moment of silence, and the symphony will begin to play. That is the jump. Calibrating the tuner. How to hack your emotional state. We now understand the theory. We attract what we are, not what we want. But how on earth does one feel rich when their bank account is in the red? How does one feel healthy when their body aches? How do we trick the dial? It is not about faking it or putting on a false mask of happiness. The universe smells falsehood. It is about generating. Your body is a chemical laboratory. You can manufacture emotions at will. You do not need an external event to secrete dopamine, oxytocin, or serotonin. You can do it with focused thought. Here are the 3 steps to calibrate your signature frequency and tune into the desired timeline. Step 1. The frequency audit. What is playing now? You cannot change stations if you don't know which one you are listening to. Most people live in emotional autopilot. They feel bad and don't even know why. Set an alarm on your phone 3 times a day. When it rings, stop and ask yourself, what am I transmitting right now? Not what you're thinking, but what you're feeling. Scan your body. Is there tension in your jaw? Frequency. resistance, anger? Is there a void in your stomach? Frequency, fear, insecurity. Is there heaviness in your shoulders? Frequency, burden, victim. If you detect a low frequency, acknowledge it without judging it. Wow, I'm broadcasting on Victim Radio FM 88.5. Just by observing it, you interrupt the signal. You stop being the signal and become the technician looking at the radio. Step 2. The emotional tuning fork, remembering the future. Now let's change the dial. To tune into the new reality, you need a reference sample. You need to know what your future self smells or sounds like. Close your eyes. Imagine your version from the success timeline. Don't look at what they have, cars, houses. Look at how they feel. That millionaire, you, are they euphoric, jumping for joy all day? Probably not. Euphoria is unstable. They probably feel secure, calm, solid. They feel relief. Relief is the frequency closest to manifestation. It is the absence of resistance. It is the feeling of, it's already done, I have nothing to prove, everything is fine. Try to invoke that feeling of relief in your body right now. Use a past memory if it helps, a moment when you felt safe and secure, and amplify it. Or use imagination. Imagine you receive the call with the good news. What happens in your chest? It opens. What happens in your shoulders? They drop. What happens to your breathing? It deepens. Maintain that feeling. Hold it for 68 seconds. According to Abraham Hicks' teachings, this is the ignition point. By doing this, you are turning the dial. You are forcing your cells to vibrate at the frequency of the new reality. Even if you are sitting on a cheap bus, if your body vibrates in abundance, you are invisibly in first class. The universe is taking note of your new location. Step 3. Signal anchoring. Acting from the state. This is where most people fail. They do the visualization, feel good for 5 minutes, and then open their eyes, see a problem, and drop back to the complaint frequency. The dial jumps back to the heavy metal station. The game is about sustaining the frequency in the face of contrary evidence. When an unexpected bill arrives, old reality, your instinct will be to contract, fear. Your jump job is to breathe and say, this is an echo of the past. I am now abundant. How would my millionaire self pay this? They would pay it calmly, knowing that there is more money on the way. And you pay the bill with that attitude. By doing so, you are detuning scarcity and tuning in abundance. You are proving to the universe that your vibration does not depend on external circumstances. When your vibration is unconditional, reality is forced to change to match you. It is law. The paradox of waiting. Why isn't it here yet? The act of waiting is a frequency in itself. The frequency of waiting implies absence. If you are waiting for the bus, it is because the bus is not here. If you are vibrating, I am waiting for my life to change, you are confirming that your life has not changed. The universe will give you more waiting. It will keep you in the waiting room eternally. To jump, you have to eliminate the waiting. You have to live in the it already is. Don't wait to feel happy. Be happy for the simple reason that you have decided to be. Don't wait to feel grateful. Be grateful for the air you breathe now. When you eliminate the waiting, you collapse time. The future folds over the present. Practical exercise, the wealth walk. This week you are going to practice active tuning. Go for a walk in your neighborhood, but don't walk as you, the current version with problems. Imagine you have just landed from timeline 50. You are immensely rich, wise, and loved. Walk with those feet. Look at the world with those eyes. How do you see the trees? How do you greet the neighbors? What is your posture like? Probably having no need or fear, you will see beauty where you previously saw dirt. You will smile with tolerance instead of judging. You will notice that people look at you differently. Dogs approach you. You are emitting a clean signal. That 20-minute walk is more powerful than 100 hours of hard work from the frequency of lack. You are hacking the matrix. Remember, the radio is always on. You never stop broadcasting. Even when you sleep, you broadcast. The question is not whether you are manifesting. You always are. The question is, what program are you tuning into? You have the power to change the channel. No one forces you to listen to the drama song. Turn the dial, find the music you like, and don't move from there even if the world falls apart. Because if you stay there, the world will reassemble around you into the shape of that melody. Now that you know how to use the dial, an interesting problem arises. You tune into the new reality, yes, but your logical brain tells you, that's impossible. That hasn't happened. You're crazy. Your memory of the past drags you backward. What if I told you that you can have memories of the future? What if I told you that time is not what you think, and that you can remember what has not yet happened with the same clarity with which you remember your first kiss? Chapter 3. The Illusion of Time, Memory of the Future. Close your eyes for a moment. Try to remember what you had for dinner yesterday. You visualize the dish, remember the taste, perhaps the conversation you had. Your brain tells you, this is real. This happened. Now try to remember what you are going to have for dinner 10 years from now, in your mansion by the sea, celebrating your financial freedom. Your brain freezes. It tells you that cannot be remembered, that is fantasy, it doesn't exist yet. This is where the big lie that keeps you trapped on floor 1 resides. You believe that the past is solid, real, and unchangeable, and you believe that the future is smoke, uncertain, and uncreated. You live your life walking backward, obsessed with what has already passed, looking back, and blind to what is coming. But if you ask a theoretical physicist, they will tell you something unsettling. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a persistent illusion. In physics, there is the concept of the block universe. Imagine an old film reel. You have a roll of film in your hands. In that roll, the beginning of the movie, the past, the middle, the present, and the end, the future, exist simultaneously. The end of the movie is already printed on the film. It is not being created as you watch it. It is already there, rolled up in your left hand. The only thing that changes is the projector light. The light illuminates one frame at a time, creating the illusion of movement and linear time. You are the projector. Your consciousness is the light. What you call now is simply the frame you are illuminating at this instant. But the frame of you being immensely happy and rich already exists on the reel. It is a few feet ahead. You don't have to paint it. You don't have to manufacture it. You just have to fast forward the movie. The problem is that society has trained us to be historians, not prophets. They have trained us to validate reality based only on the memory of the past. You say, I can't be rich because I never have been. You are using the old frames to justify why you cannot project the new ones. It's like saying, in this movie the protagonist cannot fall in love because in the first 10 minutes he was single. Absurd, right? The script moves forward. To make the timeline jump, you have to break your addiction to linear time. You have to understand that time is not a straight line. It is a space. It is a territory. Imagine that time is a landscape. New York exists, past, and Paris exists, future. The fact that you are in New York does not mean that Paris does not exist. You are simply not there now. Your successful self is in Paris waiting for you. You don't have to build Paris, you have to travel there. And the fastest vehicle to travel in time is not a spaceship. It is memory. Until today, you have used memory only to travel backward, remembering the past. No one taught you that your brain has the biological capacity to remember forward. In neuroscience, this is called prospective memory or episodic future thinking. When you visualize the future with sufficient sensory intensity, exactly the same brain areas, hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, are activated as when you recall the past. For your brain, there is no difference between remembering yesterday's kiss and imagining tomorrow's kiss. Both are electrical impulses. Both are neurologically real. The difference is certainty. When you recall the past, you have certainty. I know it happened. When you imagine the future, you have doubt. I hope it happens. That doubt is what prevents the future from materializing. The secret of great manifestors, of geniuses and visionaries, is that they do not wait for the future. They remember it. Steve Jobs did not wait to create the iPhone. He remembered it before having the technology to do so. He saw it so clearly in his mind that physical reality had no choice but to reorganize itself to match his memory. In this first part, I want you to accept the possibility of retrocausality, the idea that the future can influence the present. Your future self, the one who already lives on floor 50, is pulling you up. Those desires you have, those intuitions, are not yours. They are calls from your future self. It is he or she telling you, hey, I'm here, this is the way, remember how we got here. Your desire is not the origin of the process, it is the signal that the destiny already exists. If the possibility of realizing it did not exist, you would not have the desire. You cannot want something that is not on the menu. Hunger is the proof that food exists. The dream is the proof that that reality exists. Installing the memory, the inverse nostalgia technique. Now let's get to the practice. How do you install a memory of the future in such a way that the brain accepts it as a fait accompli and not as a fantasy? It is not enough to visualize, watching a mental movie. You have to experience it. Normal visualization is in the third person. You see yourself on a screen succeeding. That creates distance. That is dissociated. Memory of the future is in the first person. You are inside your body, looking through your eyes. That is associated. We are going to use the inverse nostalgia technique. Nostalgia is a powerful emotion. It is a mix of love, certainty, and a little longing for something that already was. We normally feel nostalgia for the past. You are going to learn to feel nostalgia for what has not yet physically happened, but which has already happened vibrationally. Step 1. The bridge to the end, quantum teleportation. Do not think about the how. The how is linear. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. That is slow. Go directly to the end. Place yourself temporarily 3, 5, or 10 years in the future. The jump has already occurred. The problem that distresses you today, debts, illness, loneliness, has already been solved years ago. It is ancient history. You are in your new home. You are safe. Close your eyes, feel the temperature of the air, touch the furniture, smell the coffee. Make it sensory. The primitive brain does not understand concepts, I am rich. It understands sensations, the weight of a gold watch, the texture of silk sheets, the smell of a new car. Step 2. The memory conversation. From that position in the future, look back. Look at your current self, the one listening to this book, and generate a thought of memory. Wow, do you remember those times? Do you remember when I was so worried about money in 2024? My God, what anguish I went through. If I had known how well everything was going to turn out, I wouldn't have worried so much. How naive I was. It seemed impossible then, but look where we are now. This is neurological dynamite. By looking at your current problem as a distant and overcome memory, you strip it of all power. You turn it into a ghost. You tell your subconscious, this problem is already solved. It is the past. The moment your brain labels the current problem as past, it stops generating cortisol, stress, and starts generating dopamine, reward. You release the resistance. And when resistance falls, the solution enters. Step 3. The sensory anchor, the object of the future. For the memory to stick, you need a totem. In your visualization of the future, choose a physical object. It could be a specific ring, a luxury pen, a particular set of keys. Feel that object in your imaginary hand. Feel its weight, its coldness, its texture. Play with it. Now open your eyes. That object is your anchor. Every time you see something similar in physical reality, or every time you touch a similar object, use it as a portal. This reminds me of my future. Bring the sensation of that real object, future, into the present. The phenomenon of false memories. Science has shown that it is very easy to implant false memories in people. If I tell you a story from your childhood with enough detail, your brain will eventually believe it happened, even if it is a lie. We are going to use this flaw of the brain to our advantage. We are going to deliberately implant the false memory of your success. Repeat the scene of the future every night before sleeping, in the hypnagogic theta state. Repeat it until you get bored. When you get bored, it is a good sign. It means the brain has normalized it. Yes, of course I'm rich. What's new? When the miracle becomes boring in your mind, it becomes inevitable in your reality. The bridge of incidents. Once you have installed the memory of the future, something strange will happen in your linear life. You will begin to cross what Neville Goddard called the bridge of incidents. Things will start happening. Some will seem good and others bad. Perhaps you get fired from your job. The past self would panic. Disaster. The future self, who remembers this as history, smiles and says, "Ah, yes, I remember this. That was when I got fired. It was the best thing that could have happened to me, because that forced me to start my company." This is the start of the change. Having the memory of the future gives you invulnerable peace. When you know the end of the movie, you're not scared in the suspense scenes. You know the hero survives. You know the boy gets the girl. So, you can relax and enjoy the plot, even when the plot gets ugly. "Everyone relax," you say. "I know how this ends. We win." That certainty, that tranquility in the midst of the storm, is the highest vibration that exists. It is the vibration of faith, but not a blind faith, "I hope it happens," but a logical faith, "I know it happens because I have already seen it." You have learned to tune the radio. You have learned to travel in time and remember the future. Your mind is already living on floor 50, but your physical body and current circumstances are still on floor 1. And here arises the most critical moment of the jump, the moment when you have to make a physical decision that breaks the inertia. Dreaming is not enough, you have to move. But not move out of effort, but move out of inspiration. Chapter 4. The Bifurcation Point, Taking the Quantum Decision. Imagine you are a 500-ton freight train traveling at 200 km/h. You have been traveling on the same track for years. You know the landscape by heart. You pass through the scarcity station, cross the loneliness tunnel, and head inevitably towards the final destination, more of the same. The train has brutal inertia. It is your momentum. It is the sum of all your habits, your past beliefs, and your environment, pushing you forward with an unstoppable force. Trying to stop that train with your own hands is impossible. That's why willpower fails. Trying to lift the train and put it on another track with your arms is impossible. That's why brute physical effort is exhausting. But there is a secret in railway engineering. To change the destiny of a gigantic train, you don't need titanic strength. You just need to find the switch. It is a small piece of metal on the track that moves barely a few centimeters. If the switch is to the right, the train continues toward the old destination. If the switch moves to the left, a gentle, almost imperceptible movement, the train changes rails. At first, the difference is minimal. The two rails run parallel, but after 10 kilometers, the left rail has separated completely and takes you to a different continent. It takes you to timeline 50. Welcome to the bifurcation point. In your daily life, these points of change are micro-decisions. Quantum physics tells us that reality is not continuous, it is discrete. It happens frame by frame. Between one frame and the next, there is an infinitesimal space of freedom. Most people live on autopilot. Their brain simply repeats the previous frame. Frame A, I wake up tired. Frame B, I look at my phone. Frame C, I complain about the coffee. Inertia dictates the next step. The train continues straight. But several times a day, the universe presents you with a bifurcation. It is a moment where inertia weakens, and a window of opportunity opens to jump tracks. They usually appear disguised as trivial, uncomfortable, or unexpected situations. Anatomy of a bifurcation. You are at home, bored, watching TV, timeline 1. Suddenly, a friend calls to invite you to a dinner where you don't know anyone. Your body, governed by the inertia of the past, laziness, social fear, screams, "Say no, stay on the couch, it's safer." That is the moment. That is the switch. There are two parallel futures shining before you. Option A, inertia. You say no, you stay home, you remain on floor 1, nothing changes. The train continues straight. Option B, jump. You feel the resistance, you feel the fear, and despite it, or thanks to it, you say, "Yes, I'm going." You turn the switch. The train changes tracks. You go to the dinner. At that dinner, you meet a person. That person offers you a business deal or becomes the love of your life. Your destiny has radically changed due to a 3-second decision. The timeline jump is not done by meditating in a cave for 20 years. It is done on the battlefield of everyday life, detecting these switches and having the courage to move them against your usual programming. The problem is that bifurcations are subtle. If you are not attentive, you overlook them. Your brain automates the no before you realize it. The quantum selector lives in a state of relaxed alert. They know that the universe is going to launch opportunities for change at them, and they know that those opportunities will come wrapped in sandpaper. They will come as challenges, as interruptions, or as fears. Why are bifurcations scary? Because your biological brain is designed to predict the future based on the past. Option A, staying on the couch, is predictable. Predictable, déjà, safe. Option B, going to the dinner, is unpredictable. Unpredictable, cest, potential danger. That's why every time you are faced with a real bifurcation point, you will feel vertigo. That vertigo is not a stop sign. It is the signal that you are looking over the abyss between two realities. It is the confirmation that you are facing a dimensional door. If you don't feel vertigo, it's not a jump. It's just one more step on the same old line. The breakup algorithm. How to act differently to be different. We already know how to identify the switch. Now we have to move it. To jump tracks, you have to introduce an anomaly into your behavior. If you are a constant variable, the result of your life equation will be constant. If you want a different result, you have to become a chaotic variable. You have to break the predictive algorithm of your own mind. Your mind says, Juan always gets angry when there is traffic. The universe says, okay, there's traffic here, waiting for Juan's anger to continue on the stress timeline. If you, at that moment, decide to put on music, sing, and laugh at the traffic, system error. You have broken the pattern. You have introduced an anomaly. The universe stops. Wait, Juan did not react like the Juan from timeline 1. This behavior corresponds to the Juan from timeline 50, the one who has a chauffeur or the one who is not in a hurry because he is free. By acting like the Juan from timeline 50, the universe is forced to realign you with that line. You magnetize toward it. Here are 3 action protocols for making quantum decisions and turning the wheel. Protocol 1. The opposite George rule. Inspired by the famous Seinfeld episode where George Costanza decides to do the opposite of what his instinct dictates and starts succeeding. Your current instinct is calibrated for survival on floor 1. Therefore, your instinct will keep you on floor 1. If your instinct tells you, don't talk to that attractive person, your instinct is protecting your loneliness. The technique. When faced with a small decision and you feel habitual resistance, ask yourself, what would my past self do? Answer, run away. Then, to jump, I must do the exact opposite. Action, attack. Do it. Without thinking. You have a 3-second window before your brain rationalizes the excuse. Do the opposite. Order the dish you never order. Take the route to work you never take. Wear the clothes you keep for a special occasion on a Tuesday. By doing the opposite, you short-circuit the inertia. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability is the mother of novelty. Protocol 2. The yes to interruption. We live obsessed with our plans. I have to do it this way. When something interrupts our plan, a call, a delay, an encounter, we get angry. But from the quantum perspective, interruption is the call. Your linear plan is a product of your limited mind, floor 1. The interruption is usually the universe trying to slip in an opportunity from floor 50 that you couldn't foresee. The technique. For the next 3 days, practice surrender to the interruption. If you miss the bus, don't get angry. Assume that that bus was taking you to the old line. Look around you. Who is at the stop? Maybe you have to talk to someone. Maybe you have to see a sign. Accept the detour as if it were the main route. Tell yourself, this interruption is my bifurcation. I accept it. Where are you taking me? You will be surprised to discover that the best things in life were never on your agenda. They were in the margins. Protocol 3. The high-impact symbolic action. Sometimes to jump, you need to prove to your subconscious that you are serious. You need a rite of passage. You need to make a physical decision that tells the universe, I have burned the boats. I am not going back. This does not mean being reckless, it means being coherent with the new line. Examples. If your new line is, I am a professional writer, but you still write on a broken virus-filled laptop, there is incoherence. The symbolic action would be spending money that hurts a little to buy the best laptop you can afford, or throwing your old mediocre texts in the trash. That physical act of investing in your new identity sends a massive shockwave. You are putting money on the table. You are betting on yourself. The universe respects bets. When you buy that expensive suit for the interview, before you have the job, you feel different. You walk differently. And that difference is what gets you the job. The bridge of incidence and temporal chaos. A vital warning: just after making a quantum decision and turning the switch, it is very likely that everything seems to get worse. The train screeches as it changes tracks. There are jolts, suitcases fall. Perhaps you leave your toxic partner, and the following week you feel lonelier than ever, and your washing machine breaks down. The old self shouts, "See, error, go back to what's familiar." The quantum jumper knows the truth. It is the chaos of restructuring. You are crossing the bridge of incidence. The old reality is crumbling to make space for the new one. The rubble has to fall. If you maintain the course in the middle of the chaos, if you are not scared and turn back, the fog will clear and the new landscape will appear. Confusion is the symptom that the jump is happening. If everything remains the same and calm, worry. It means you haven't moved. Exercise: the bifurcation radar. Your mission for today is simple. You don't have to do anything heroic. You just have to turn on the radar. Detect 3 moments in your day where you feel the autopilot taking over. The choice of what to eat. The reaction to an annoying email. The decision to watch Netflix or read Create. In those 3 moments, stop, breathe, visualize the train switch. Look at the usual track, easy, familiar, leads to the same place. Look at the new track, uncomfortable, different, leads to floor 50. And, even if it's only once today, choose the new track. Eat the salad. Don't reply to the email in anger, but with peace, or don't reply at all. Turn off the TV and pick up the book. Feel the small internal click. That click is the sound of your destiny changing. You have just jumped. Now that you have turned the wheel, you need a co-pilot. Navigating the multiverse can be lonely and confusing. Sometimes you won't know which option is correct. What if I told you that you already have an expert guide? What if I told you that your future self is not just a passive image, but an active entity you can communicate with to ask for directions? Chapter 5. The Quantum Double, Connecting with Your Higher Self. You have learned to detect bifurcations. You have learned to turn the wheel against your basic survival instinct. But let's be honest, navigating the multiverse blindly is terrifying. Sometimes you are facing a difficult decision. Should I quit my job? Should I invest in this? Should I move? And no matter how hard you try to vibrate high or remember the future, your logical mind goes blank. You don't know which is the right path. You are afraid of jumping to a worse timeline. This is where the most powerful and least utilized tool in your arsenal comes into play, your quantum double. To understand this, we have to stop thinking of ourselves as a single solid being and start seeing ourselves as a dual entity. There is a fascinating theory, popularized by physicist Jean-Pierre Garnier-Mallet, called the theory of time doubling. This theory suggests that time does not flow at a single speed. There is real time, where your physical body lives, slow and dense, and quantum time, where your energetic body lives at an almost infinite speed. Imagine you are trapped in a giant corn maze. You are the physical self. You are on the ground, you cannot see beyond the next curve. You walk slowly, bump into walls, get lost. It takes hours to find the exit, and sometimes you enter painful dead ends. But simultaneously, another version of you exists, the quantum self, or the double. This double is not on the ground. It is flying a drone 100 meters high above the maze. He sees the entire map. He sees which paths lead to the treasure and which paths lead to the precipice. And most importantly, he moves at the speed of light. While you take one step in the maze, your double has already traveled every possible path to the end, seen the results of each one, and returned to tell you about it. The problem is that you do not have good communication coverage. You, the self on Earth, are so busy worrying, looking at your phone and thinking about the past that you don't listen to the radio. Your double is shouting at you from the drone. Don't turn left, there's a cliff there, but you don't hear him. You turn left, you fall, and you say, I have such bad luck. The quantum double is not a mystical guardian angel, nor an external spirit. It is you. It is your consciousness projected onto a faster frequency. It is the part of you that exists outside the restriction of linear time. This double is constantly traveling to the future, exploring the potential timelines, the restaurant menus, and returning to the present to update the information for you. How does he pass that information on to you? Through intuition. Intuition is not magic. Intuition is a high-speed compressed data file. It is the double telling you, I went to the future of that investment. I saw you lose the money, don't do it. You feel a knot in your stomach. That is the double's report. Or he tells you, I went to the future of that party. You meet someone key. Go. You feel an irrational excitement. Most people live disconnected from their double. They go to sleep stressed, thinking about their problems. By doing this, they give their double the wrong instruction. The double is a faithful server. If you go to sleep thinking about debts, you are telling him, my interest is debts. Please explore all possible futures where there are more debts and bring me those options. And the double obeys. He travels to the poverty timelines, solidifies them, and you wake up in the morning with ideas that lead you to ruin. In this first part, I want you to understand that you never have to make a decision alone. You have a partner who has the complete map. You have an explorer who can go to tomorrow, test the options, and come back today to tell you which one works. Your job is not to know how to get to floor 50. Your job is to tell the double, I want to go to floor 50, find the route. I'll drive, you navigate. The night protocol, how to download updates while you sleep. If the double moves at light speed and you move at turtle speed, when do you meet? When do the times synchronize? During paradoxical sleep, REM phase. When you sleep, your physical body shuts down. Your brain stops processing linear time. You enter no time. It is at that moment that the data exchange occurs. It is the daily strategy meeting between the CEO, you on Earth, and the expert consultant, your double. But for the meeting to be fruitful, you have to prepare for it. You cannot arrive at the meeting drunk on worries. You have to follow a strict protocol before closing your eyes. Here is the night connection ritual to jump timelines while you sleep. Step 1. Clearing the buffer, emotional sleep hygiene. The state you fall asleep with determines the timeline you wake up in. This is literal. If you fall asleep watching disaster news or mentally arguing with your boss, you are anchoring yourself to the disaster timeline. You are filling your backpack with stones before the trip. The double cannot communicate through the static noise of cortisol. The golden rule, the last 10 minutes before bed are sacred. Prohibited mobile phone, prohibited arguing, prohibited ruminating on problems. You have to enter a state of benevolence. Benevolence, wishing well for yourself and others, is the highest bandwidth frequency. It cleans the line. If you are angry with someone, say mentally, I forgive you and I forgive myself. I delete the conflict so I can travel light. Don't do it for them. Do it to free up your RAM. Step 2. The glass of water, information conductor. This may sound esoteric, but it is based on water's ability to store information and conduct electricity. We are 70% water. Take a glass of water before going to bed. As you drink it, imagine that this water is a conductor of clarity. By hydrating your brain, you facilitate the synaptic connections necessary to remember the information from the dream. Drink half. Leave the other half on the nightstand. This acts as a psychological anchor of task in progress. Step 3. The coordinates request, the briefing. You are now in bed in the dark, in that state between waking and sleeping, hypnagogic state. You are floating. It is time to talk to your double. Do not talk to him as if he were a distant god. Talk to him as if he were your best friend or your most loyal partner. Give him a clear instruction. Do not give him the problem, don't complain. Give him the destination. Incorrect. I'm sick of my job. My boss is an idiot. I don't know what to do. Help me. This focuses the double on the horrible job timeline. Correct? I want to tune into the timeline where I feel professionally fulfilled, earn X money and have freedom. You know the way. Explore the options tonight and bring me the solution. I trust you. Or if you have a specific doubt, tomorrow I have to choose between A and B. Go to the future of A and the future of B. See which one makes me happiest. Give me the answer when I wake up tomorrow. And most importantly, end with the phrase, let your will be done, my higher selves, which is mine. This eliminates the resistance of the ego that thinks it knows what is best for it. Step 4. Deletion and surrender. Surrender. Once the order is given, you have to let go of control. Imagine handing a heavy backpack to your double. Feel the weight leaving your shoulders. I have done my part, asking. Now it's your turn, searching. I'm going to rest. You have to fall asleep with a feeling of total relief, as if the problem were already solved. If you fall asleep worried, will he find it? You block the download. Worry is a signal of interference. Sleep like a baby. Sleep with the smile of someone who has the best team in the universe working the night shift. The awakening, decompressing the file. The alarm rings. You open your eyes. What happens now? Do not expect to see a neon sign on the ceiling that says, "Choose option B." The double's answer is subtle. It downloads in the first seconds of awakening. The intuitive sensation. Notice how you feel about the problem. Yesterday you were distressed. Today, suddenly you feel a strange calm, or you feel a visceral rejection towards one of the options. That is the answer. The flash idea. While you are showering, an idea comes to you. I should call Maria. It doesn't make sense. Do it. That is the route the double found. Synchronicity. Throughout the day, the universe starts leaving you breadcrumbs. Someone says a phrase, you see an advertisement, an appointment is cancelled. Follow the crumbs. The night fix effect. Have you ever gone to sleep with a terrible headache or anger, and the next day you woke up new as if nothing had happened? Your double has deleted the timeline of illness, anger, and placed you in a new one. He has ironed out the wrinkles in time. If you learn to use this consciously every night, you will age slower. You will solve problems while you sleep. You will become a lucid time traveler. Your daytime life will stop being a struggle to find solutions and will become an adventure of receiving instructions and executing them. You are the workforce. The double is the architect. When the workforce obeys the architect without arguing, the building, your life, goes up fast and effortlessly. But beware. For the double to guide you to timeline 50, you have to be willing to stop looking at timeline 1. Here we return to the problem of observation. Your double brings you the solution, but you are still obsessively looking at the problem. You keep observing the 3D reality and saying, "This is real." By doing so, you collapse the wave back into the problem, undoing the night work. We need a technique to stop collapsing the old. We need to learn to look without seeing, to be in the world without belonging to it. Chapter 6. Wave Collapse, Active Observation. You have connected with your double. You have received the intuition. You know that timeline 50, your success, exists and is ready for you. But you open your eyes in the morning and there it is, the damp patch on the wall, the message from the bank demanding payment, the look of disappointment on your partner's face, the mirror showing you that wrinkle or that extra kilo. Your automatic reaction is to validate that information. You say, "This is real, I am seeing it, I cannot deny it, I have a problem." And at that precise moment, you commit the perfect quantum crime. You have just collapsed the wave. You have just frozen your current reality, preventing it from changing. To understand the gravity of this, let's go back to the famous double-slit experiment. When physicists fire electrons without looking, the electrons behave like waves, energy, possibility, fluidity. They can be in many places at once. But when physicists set up a camera to observe where the electron passes, the electron gets scared and turns into a particle, matter, solidity, fixed location. Observation turns possibility into matter. You are the observer. Your attention is the camera. You have the Midas touch, but instead of turning everything into gold, you turn everything into stone. What you give sustained attention to, you solidify. You anchor it in time and space. If you spend the day observing your debts, talking about your debts and feeling your debts, you are bombarding that reality with such a quantity of attention particles that you make it indestructible. You are telling the universe, "Keep this here, make it solid. I am very interested in it because I look at it all the time." The universe does not distinguish if you look at it with love or with hate. It only registers the focus, attention, energy, creation. Hating your body is giving energy to the current shape of your body. Complaining about your boss is solidifying your boss in their role as a tyrant. Here lies the cruelest paradox of change. To change your reality, You have to stop looking at your reality. You have to become blind to what is, to be able to start seeing what will be. The key concept you must tattoo onto your mind is, current reality is the past. What you see with your physical eyes right now is not the present. It is residue. Think of the stars. When you look at the night sky and see a star shining, that light left the star millions of years ago. Perhaps the star has already exploded and died, but you continue to see its light. You are seeing the past. Your material life works the same way. Your bank account today is the light of your thoughts and actions from 6 months ago. Your body today is the residue of your habits and emotions from a year ago. Matter is dense and slow. It takes time to manifest. When you look at your current reality and say, "This is me," you are making an identity mistake. You are defining yourself by your smoke trail. The timeline jumper treats 3D reality with strategic indifference. They know it is a temporary hologram. Ah, look, an unpaid bill. How interesting. Residue of my old consciousness of scarcity. It has nothing to do with me anymore. It's just the final echo before disappearing. This attitude disarms reality. By withdrawing the emotional load, fear, validation, you remove the glue. Current reality begins to become fluid again. It returns to being a wave, and when it is a wave, it can be molded. In this first part, I want you to understand that your loyalty to the facts is your prison. Realistic people never jump timelines. They remain trapped managing what is there. Visionaries, magicians, and geniuses are, by definition, unrealistic. They ignore the current facts to impose a new truth. Steve Jobs ignored the fact that technology for a phone without keys did not exist. He observed a reality where it did exist, until he collapsed it. You have to learn to look through the walls of your prison. The attention sniper, selecting the new evidence. If we stop looking at the old, where do we put our eyes? We cannot remain blind. The mind needs a target. This is where the technique of active observation comes in. You are going to stop being a passive spectator who swallows what is put on TV to become an evidence sniper. Your quantum double, from the previous chapter, is already working. He is sending you clues from timeline 50, but those clues at first are subtle. They are tiny green shoots in a burnt field. Your job is to search for, find, and exaggerate those shoots. Imagine you want to jump to the wealth timeline. Your current 3D reality is 99% scarcity, but today you find a 5-cent coin on the ground, or someone buys you a coffee, or you see a luxury car parked that you love. The realist would say, "Nah, 5 cents is not wealth, the car is not mine, I'm still poor." Collapses scarcity. The sniper says, "Evidence, here it is. Wealth is beginning to filter into my reality. The universe is sending me money. First cents, then millions. The line is opening." You have to celebrate that 5-cent coin with the same emotion as if it were a million. Why? Because by putting your attention plus emotion on the coin, you are collapsing the wave of abundance. You are anchoring that small fragment of the new reality. You are telling the universe, "Yes, this, more of this. Look how I look at it. Look how I like it. Send me more of this." And the universe obeys your focus. What you appreciate, appreciates, grows in value. Here are the 3 protocols of active observation to dismantle the old and solidify the new. Protocol 1. The reality diet. Quantum denial. If you want a plant to die, you stop watering it. If you want a problem to die, you stop talking about it. From today, strictly forbid yourself from talking about your problems with anyone, unless it is to technically solve them, talking to the lawyer or the doctor. Do not complain to friends. Do not write it in your diary. Do not ruminate on it in the shower. When the problem appears in your mind, apply quantum denial. I see you, but I do not recognize you. You are not my truth. You are a matrix error that is being corrected. Pass. It's like seeing an annoying ad on YouTube. You don't get angry at the ad. You simply wait for the skip ad button to appear and press it. Treat your dramas as annoying ads. Don't buy anything from them. Protocol 2. The coincidence scanner, confirmation. Your reticular activating system, RAS, is the filter of your brain. It only lets you see what it considers important. Until now, it was programmed to see dangers and lacks. We're going to reprogram it to see magic. Every morning, give an order to your brain. Today I want to see proof that my life is improving, and walk through the day like a detective. Did the traffic light turn green? The universe is clearing the path for me. Did someone smile at you? I am magnetic. Did a problem resolve itself? My double is working. It may seem like a silly game, but neurologically you are rewiring your perception. And quantum mechanically, you are collapsing thousands of positive microwaves a day. The sum of those collapses creates a critical mass that tilts the balance toward the new timeline. Protocol 3. Holographic immersion saturating the senses. If the current reality doesn't give you what you want, go find it where it is. The brain needs sensory inputs to believe. If you want to jump to the wealth timeline, don't stay in your ugly house staring at the wall. Go to the lobby of the most expensive hotel in your city, order a coffee, you can afford that, and sit there for 2 hours. Observe. Smell the expensive perfume. Touch the velvet of the armchair. Listen to the silence of money. Absorb that reality. Tell your cells, this is not a place I visit. This is my natural habitat. Memorize it. By saturating your senses with the frequency of the destination, you trick the brain. The brain begins to normalize the luxury, and when you normalize it, the fear disappears. And when the fear disappears, the resistance falls and reality enters. The paradox of faking it. Many people say, but that is deceiving oneself. It is living in denial. Yes, exactly. You have to deny the lie, your current limitation, to affirm the truth, your unlimited potential. All great changes in history began with someone deceiving themselves, believing they could fly or that they could heal or that they could change the world, when all the evidence said otherwise. Reality is clay. It has no shape of its own. It takes the shape of the hand that squeezes it with the most conviction. If you don't squeeze it with your vision, the fears of others, the news, society, will squeeze it. Be the one who molds it. The snap moment. If you practice active observation with discipline, a strange moment will arrive. You will be walking down the street, ignoring your problems and focusing on your vision, and suddenly you will feel a snap in your brain. It is as if the world flickered. For a second, you will feel a total disconnection from your past story. You will forget who you are, your name, your traumas. You will feel light, as if you were an actor who has forgotten the script. Don't be afraid. It is the moment when the old timeline has let go, but the new one has not fully clicked into place. You are floating in the quantum void. It is the moment of greatest power. In that void, smile and say, I am ready, show me. But be careful. Just after this moment of peace and connection, just when it seems that the jump is imminent, it is very likely that the universe will throw a final test at you. It is what we call the elastic band effect. The old reality, feeling rejected, is going to pull you with brutal force to try to bring you back. A huge problem will appear. An ancient fear, a paralyzing doubt. It is not a punishment, it is the physical tension of the jump. Chapter 7. The Elastic Band Effect, the Snapback. You have done the work. You have tuned the dial of your internal radio to the frequency of abundance. You have remembered your future. You have made courageous quantum decisions, turning the wheel toward the unknown. You feel different. You know you have changed, and logically you expect the outside world to reflect that change immediately with red carpets and rainbows. But instead, disaster strikes. Suddenly everything breaks. Within a week of deciding you are rich, you get a huge traffic ticket and your boiler breaks down. Within 3 days of deciding you are love, your partner stages the ugliest jealousy scene in years, or a toxic ex appears out of nowhere. At work, where you had decided to shine, an unfair conflict arises, and they threaten to fire you. The novice jumper enters absolute panic. Their logical mind screams, I did it wrong, this isn't working, I've angered the universe. I was better off before when I settled. I'm going back to my old routine to stop this chaos. And by retreating, the chaos stops. And the novice thinks, phew, thank goodness, I'm safe. Mistake. You are dead in life again. The master jumper knows the truth. Chaos is not a sign of error. It is a sign of movement. Welcome to the elastic band effect, or snapback. Imagine your current self is tied to a concrete post with a giant, thick, elastic band around your waist. That post is your old timeline, your old identity, your beliefs, your environment, your history. When you decide to walk toward the new timeline, you start stretching the band. The first steps are easy. The band is loose. It is the honeymoon phase of personal development, where everything seems beautiful. But as you advance and move further away from the posters, your vibration rises and distances itself from your environment. The band tightens. The further you advance, the stronger the tension that pulls you backward. That tension manifests in the physical world as problems, crises, and doubts. The recoil force is proportional to your forward force. If your life is suddenly becoming very chaotic and noisy, it means you are stretching the band to the maximum. It means you are about to break it. It is pure physics. Maximum tension occurs just before release. The universe seeks homeostasis, equilibrium. You are an anomaly right now. You are vibrating at wealth, floor 50, but your physical reality is still poverty, floor 1. There is a dissonance. The old reality is fighting for its survival. It is trying to drag you back to eliminate the tension. Your old friends criticize you. Your old fears awaken. It is a test of faith. The universe is asking you, you say you have changed, but is it true? Or are you just pretending? If I pressure you, will you go back to being the usual victim? Or will you maintain your new identity, even if the sky falls? If you react to the chaos with fear and go back, the band loosens. The relief is immediate, but you have lost the jump. But if you keep walking, if you keep advancing with the band digging into your waist, ignoring the pain, ignoring the chaos, maintaining the vision of the future, a critical moment arrives. The breaking point. Snap. The band breaks. And you are not only freed from the post, but the accumulated propulsion force launches you shot forward at a dizzying speed, the slingshot effect. The biggest quantum jumps in history are always preceded by a monumental crisis. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before reinventing Apple. Many people hit financial rock bottom just before becoming millionaires. It is the pattern of the extinction burst. The old has to die for the new to be born. And death is a messy process. Your old house is collapsing because your new energy no longer fits. Don't try to shore up the walls. Don't try to glue the pieces back together. Let it fall. That dust, that noise, that conflict is the sound of your freedom arriving. Don't be afraid. Don't complain. Put on your helmet, smile in the midst of the storm and say, wow, the band is about to snap. I must be very close. In this first part, I want you to change your relationship with recent adversity. If everything is going wrong right now, congratulations. It means you have moved enough to tighten the rope. Those who do not move do not feel tension. Corpses do not have crises. Crisis is a symptom of life and accelerated growth. The eye of the hurricane stabilization techniques. Okay, the theory is nice, but living it is terrifying. How do you stay standing when your partner leaves you, your account drops to zero, or your health falters, all at the same time? How do you prevent fear from dragging you back to the post? You need to learn to inhabit the eye of the hurricane. The hurricane spins at 300 km/h, destroying everything in its path. But in the exact center, there is a circle of absolute calm and silence. That center is your observing consciousness. Everything else, your circumstances, your emotions, people, is the spinning wind. Here are 3 stabilization techniques to withstand the tension without letting go of the vision. Technique 1, the non-reaction rule, radical neutrality. The old reality feeds on one thing, your emotional reaction. When that unfair fine arrives, the goal of the old timeline is for you to get angry, feel injustice, and lower your vibration to victim. If you get angry, you give it energy. You reconnect the wire, you tie yourself back to the post. The technique is, do not take the bait. When disaster strikes, pause for 10 seconds. Don't shout, don't cry, don't call anyone. Breathe and say, interesting, the old hologram is making noise. Treat the problem with administrative coldness. Do you have to pay the fine? Pay it. But do it without emotion. Do it like someone taking out the trash. Don't give it meaning. Don't say, why me? By not reacting emotionally, you starve the problem. The old reality, seeing that it fails to provoke you, it doesn't get louche or emotional energy, weakens and disappears. Technique 2. The final test, reframing. When a temptation from the past appears, immediately label it as a graduation exam. Classic example. You decide you deserve healthy, respectful love. You leave your toxic partner. 3 days later, your ex calls, crying, promising they have changed, telling you the exact words you wanted to hear a year ago. It is the elastic band pulling. It is the universe saying, "Are you sure you want the new? Look, here is the old wrapped in gift paper. It's comfortable. It's familiar. Do you want it?" If you go back, you fail the exam. You repeat the course, another turn on the loop. If you say, "No, thank you, but I no longer vibrate there," and hang up the phone, you have passed. The universe knows you are serious. Immediately after that definitive no, the real new partner usually appears. The void you leave by rejecting the almost good is the space where the excellent enters. Have the courage to leave the table empty before the banquet is served. Do not snack on the crumbs out of fear of hunger. Technique 3. The identity anchor. I am the one who observes. In the middle of the storm, you will forget who you are. Fear will make you feel small. You need a stabilization mantra. When you feel the band is about to tear you in two, repeat, "I am not what happens to me, I am the one who chooses what happens next." Remember that you are crossing the bridge between two worlds. There is an abyss under the bridge. It is normal to have vertigo. Do not look down at the 3D problems. Look straight ahead at the memory of the future. Visualize your floor 50 self on the other side of the bridge, reaching out their hand to you, smiling, saying, "Hold on, you're almost there. Just one more step." The phenomenon of the fertile void. Sometimes the elastic band effect does not manifest as chaos, but as nothing. Absolute silence. You do the work, you let go of the old, and the new does not arrive. Your friends leave, but new ones do not come. You quit your job, but no clients arrive. You are at 0 point, the void. It's like being in the hallway between two rooms. You have closed one door and the other has not yet opened. You are in the dark. This is what terrifies the ego the most. The ego prefers pain to the void. The ego will fill that void with anxiety or go back. The jumper knows that the void is sacred. It is the moment when the universe is reconfiguring the scenery behind the curtain. Do not try to fill the void with junk out of boredom or fear. Inhabit the void. Rest in it. Enjoy the silence. It is the calm before massive manifestation. The greater the void you are capable of holding without panicking, the greater the amount of abundance that can enter to fill it. Signs that the band has snapped. How do you know you have passed the test? You will feel it. A negative event will occur, the same one that used to destroy you, and suddenly you will realize that you don't care. It doesn't hurt. You look at it, and it seems distant, like an old blurry movie. You laugh, you feel a strange lightness in your body. That is the moment when the anchor has been released. You no longer belong to the old timeline. You are free, and right after that feeling of lightness, the lights begin to appear. You start seeing the signs of the new destination. They are no longer problems. They are magical coincidences. They are numbers. They are chance encounters. The navigation system confirms that you have entered new territory. Chapter 8. Synchronization signals, numbers and coincidences. You have survived the snapback. You have endured the tension of the elastic band without releasing your vision, and the band has finally broken. You have left behind the old reality. You have passed through the fertile void. And now, suddenly, the world begins to behave in a strange way. It starts talking to you. You are walking down the street thinking about your financial freedom, and you see a car license plate ending in 111. You look at the clock, and it's 11:11. You walk into a coffee shop, and the exact song you had in your head is playing. You think of a person you haven't seen in years, and 10 minutes later you get a message from them or run into them in the subway. You open a book at random, and the sentence you read answers exactly the question you asked your double last night. The skeptic, Timeline 1, says, "Those are coincidences. They have no meaning." It's apophenia, seeing patterns where there are none. The time traveler, Timeline 50, knows the truth. It is synchronicity. It is the operating system of reality confirming that your new frequency is being received and processed. Think about social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They have an algorithm. If you start liking and watching kitten videos, the algorithm takes note. The user likes kittens. At first, your feed is still mixed, but if you persist in your attention to kittens, in 24 hours your feed will be 100% kittens. The algorithm feeds you more of what you look at. The universe operates with the same code. Synchronicity is the algorithm of reality, adjusting to your new vibrational search history. During the timeline jump, these signals fulfill a vital function. They are your GPS. Imagine you are driving toward a new city in the fog. You cannot see the destination. The complete physical manifestation has not yet arrived. How do you know you are on the right path? By the traffic signs. If you're going to Paris and start seeing signs in French, you know you're getting closer, even if you don't see the Eiffel Tower yet. The mirror hours, 11:11, 22:22, feathers, coins, impossible coincidences, are the traffic signs of the fifth dimension. They are telling you, you are aligned. Keep going straight, do not deviate. Synchronicity is a glitch in the matrix. It is the moment when the barrier between your internal world, thought, and the external world, matter, becomes so thin that they touch. What you think appears outside instantly. This proves that linear time is collapsing. It proves that the distance between asking and receiving is shortening. It is the scientific proof that your magnetism is working. In this first part, I want you to change your relationship with these signals. Stop seeing them as fun curiosities. Start seeing them as critical navigation data. When you see a signal, don't just say, cool. Stop, acknowledge it, be grateful for it. Tell the universe, received, copied, maintaining course. By acknowledging the signal, you close the feedback circuit. You confirm to the algorithm that you like it, and the algorithm accelerates the delivery of the final package. But beware, the algorithm is neutral. Negative synchronicity also exists. If you start thinking about accidents or illness with intense fear, you will start seeing ambulances everywhere. You will see news of accidents. That is also a sign. It is the GPS screaming at you, alert, you are heading towards a cliff, turn around. Use negative signals not to scare yourself, but to correct the course immediately. Decoding the language, what the signals really mean. Okay, the universe is talking to you, but what is it telling you? You don't need a complex numerology manual or a guru. The language is personal. However, there are certain universal codes that often appear in quantum jumping processes. We are going to decode the three most common types of signals you will encounter on your journey to floor 50. Type 1. The master numbers, alignment codes. Suddenly, 11:11, 2:22, 4:44 are following you. It's not that you look at the clock more often, it's that you feel the impulse to look at that exact second. It is an intuitive dopamine injection. 11:11, the starting portal. It is the binary code of reality, 1111. It means channel open. It is the moment when the universe is taking a vibrational snapshot of you. What to do? Whatever you are thinking or feeling at that precise instant is going to manifest with turbo speed. If you're worried at 11:11, stop. Change the thought to gratitude immediately. Use it as a manifestation checkpoint. 22, 2222, the confirmation of sowing. 2 is the number of gestation and association. It means everything is going well, even if you don't see the sprout yet. Don't dig up the seed. It is a message of patience and faith. 333, the master's signal. It means support. You are not alone. Your quantum double and the invisible team have your back. It is a keep going. 444, stability, protection. It means the new structure is solidifying. The jump is becoming permanent. You are safe. 555, imminent change. Hold on. 5 is the number of chaos and mutation. If you see 555, prepare for a plot twist. Something is going to change fast. Don't be scared. It's the elevator going up suddenly. Don't obsess over the exact meaning. The important thing is the sensation. When you see the number, do you feel a small spark in your chest? That spark is your soul telling you, yes, this is it. Type 2, manifestation echoes, seeing it in others. This is the hardest test and where most people fail. You are manifesting a new car, or an ideal partner, or a pregnancy, and suddenly Everyone around you starts having it, except you. Your best friend buys that car. Your sister finds a partner. Your neighbor gets pregnant. The novice jumper reacts with envy. It's unfair. Why them and not me? The universe is mocking me. Fatal error. If you feel envy, you tell the universe, I don't have this. I am separate from this. Scarcity frequency. The universe slows down your delivery. The master jumper knows that this is a proximity echo. Imagine you order a pizza. The delivery person enters your building. First you smell pizza in the doorway, then you see the neighbor on the first floor with a pizza, then the one on the second. Does that mean you are out of pizza? No, it means the delivery person is in your building. They are coming up the stairs. You are so vibrationally close to the pizza that it is already appearing in your holographic reality, starting with the supporting actors. You are next. When you see someone else achieve your dream, you have to celebrate like crazy. You have to feel genuine joy. Yes, it's here. If it's in my reality, it's available to me. Thank you, friend, for showing me it's possible. Thank you for warming up reality for me. The joy for others is the most powerful magnet that exists. It tells the universe, I like this, I am compatible with this. Type 3. Glitches in the matrix and absurd obstacles, redirection. Sometimes the signal is not a number or a gift. Sometimes it is a blockade. You're about to catch that plane for the meeting of your life, and the flight is cancelled. You're about to sign the lease for the perfect apartment, and the owner backs out at the last second for no reason. The ego screams, bad luck, blockade. The quantum double whispers, protection. Remember that your double sees the future. Maybe that plane was going to crash, or maybe at that meeting you were going to sign a ruinous deal. Maybe that apartment had a hidden plumbing problem that was going to cost you a fortune. When you try to force a door and it doesn't open, or it slams shut in your face violently, do not force the lock. It is a redirection signal. The universe is telling you, not that way. I have something better. Wait. There is a famous story about a person who lost a job they loved. They were devastated. They thought their manifestation had failed. 2 weeks later, they were offered a position paying double at the competition. If they hadn't been fired, they would never have been available for the offer. The firing was not an error. It was a maneuver to clear the path. The this or something better rule. To navigate these signals without anxiety, always use the safety clause in your manifestations. When you ask for something, add, I want this or something better. Thus, if the universe takes away what you wanted, the apartment, the partner, you don't sink. You know it's because the something better package has already left the warehouse and it needed you to let go of the good to receive the excellent. Exercise. The Synchronicity Journal. Your logical brain tends to forget the magic. When a coincidence happens, you say, wow, but 2 hours later, your doubt returns, and you say, nah, it was chance. You need empirical evidence. Buy a small notebook, the traveler's logbook. Every night, write down 3 signals you saw that day. I saw 11:11. I thought of pizza and someone invited me to pizza. The boring meeting was cancelled. After a month, read the journal. You will get goosebumps. You will see an undeniable mathematical pattern. You will see how the signals have become more frequent, more precise and larger. You will see the movie plot unfolding. That journal will be your anchor when you have a bad day. You will read it and remember, I'm not crazy, I'm connected, the system responds to me. Now you have the confirmation. The GPS works, the signals are there. You are vibrating high. The universe responds to you. But you still have a physical problem. You are still living in your old house, wearing your old clothes, and going to your old job while waiting for the new to arrive. That cognitive dissonance can lower your vibration. You need to learn to live in the future physically, before the future arrives. You need to hack your 3D environment. Chapter 9. Dimensional Anchoring, Living in the As-If. You have tuned the frequency. You have seen the 11:11 signals. Your double has given you instructions. You feel rich, loved, and healthy inside. But then, you open your eyes and look at your room, and you see the pile of dirty laundry on the chair. You see the walls with peeling paint. You open the refrigerator and see that sad container of leftovers. You put on your old clothes and feel that the fabric is worn. Immediately, a violent collision occurs. Cognitive dissonance. Your mind says, I am a king-queen on floor 50. Your environment screams, you are a scrub on floor 1. And in this war between imagination and environment, the environment usually wins through attrition. It is hard to maintain the vibration of a millionaire if you live surrounded by dirt and chaos. It is hard to feel loved if you sleep in a cold, messy bed. Physical matter has a dense vibration that pulls you down. It acts as an anchor that keeps you tied to the old timeline. To complete the jump, it is not enough to think differently. You have to live differently before life changes. You have to perform a dimensional anchoring. This means bringing physical pieces of timeline 50 into your current reality on floor 1. You have to become the set designer of your own movie. If you are shooting a movie about a successful entrepreneur, you cannot shoot it on a ruined set. You have to dress the set. The universe has a horror of the void and of incoherence. If you behave and live with a dignity superior to your current circumstances, a pressure vacuum is created. Reality says, system error. This user has a level 10 behavior, but a level 2 environment. We must urgently update the environment to match. The artifact of the future technique. You don't need a lot of money to hack your environment. You only need aesthetics and intention. The vibration of wealth is not expensive things. It is order, cleanliness, and beauty. Poverty is chaos. Wealth is clarity. Start with your room. Your room is the extension of your mind. If your room is chaotic, your mind cannot sustain the vision. Clean up. Throw away what is useless. Make the bed as if it were a 5-star hotel. Stretched sheets, perfect pillows. Just by doing that, you elevate the frequency of the space. Now introduce the artifact of the future. Buy one object, just one, that belongs to your timeline 50. It has to be an object of extreme quality, something your millionaire self would use daily. It could be a fine porcelain coffee cup, instead of the ugly promotional mug. It could be a heavy metal pen, instead of the chewed Bic. It could be a luxurious hand soap with an exquisite scent. Every time you touch that object, use it as a portal. When you wash your hands with that expensive soap, close your eyes and say, this is the smell of my real life. I am in my mansion right now. That object radiates the frequency of the future. It positively contaminates the rest of the house. It is a navigation beacon. It tells your subconscious, see this? This is normal for us now. Get used to it. The excellence protocol. You have to stop saving the good stuff for later. That mentality is murderous. It is the mentality of, I am not worthy today, I will be tomorrow. Take out the good dinnerware on a Tuesday to eat pizza. Put on your best perfume to go buy bread. Wear the expensive underwear even if no one will see it. By doing so, you send yourself a powerful message. I am the special occasion. You don't wait for the event. You bring the event with you. When you treat your current life with the reverence and respect of your future life, matter starts to shine. Reality becomes porous. You start noticing that the world treats you with more respect simply because you treat yourself with more respect. Method acting hacking your biometrics. You have hacked your house. Now it's time to hack your avatar. Let's talk about Konstantin Stanislavski and the system. The best actors in the world do not pretend to be the character. They become the character. They change their way of walking, their breathing, their micro-gesticulation, and by doing so they start truly feeling what the character feels. Emotion follows the body. If you walk like a victim, slumped shoulders, downward gaze, shuffled steps, your brain will secrete cortisol. You will feel like a victim. If you walk like a king-queen, straight spine, gaze on the horizon, firm and slow pace, your brain will secrete testosterone and serotonin. You will feel powerful. To jump to timeline 50, you have to start using the Avatar 50 body here and now. You have to practice the as if, but not as a lie, but as a dress rehearsal. Here are the 3 biohacking protocols to embody your future. Protocol 1. The speed of success. The tempo. Observe how people who live in lack and stress move. They move fast, in a hurry, with anxiety. They are always late. Their movements are spasmodic. Now, observe someone who has true power and wealth. Not the nervous new rich, but the consolidated rich. They move slowly. They have time. They are the owner of time. When they speak, they pause. They are not afraid of silence. When they walk, they flow. Your hack. Slow down everything by 20%. Walk slower. Eat slower. Speak slower. By slowing down, you tell your nervous system, everything is under control. There are no predators. We are safe. That safety signal is the base frequency of abundance. Hurry is poverty. Calm is wealth. When you catch yourself running out of inertia, stop, breathe, and resume movement with the majesty of your future self. Protocol 2. The identity wardrobe. Skin in the game. Your clothes affect your cognition. Enclothed cognition. If you work in old pajamas from home, your brain is in laziness, rest mode. Your productivity and ambition drop. If you put on a suit or clothes that make you feel powerful, your voice changes when speaking on the phone. Your negotiating ability increases. You don't need designer clothes. You need clothes that are aligned with your archetype. Who is your future self? Are they a creative executive? Are they a bohemian artist? Are they a spiritual leader? Dress like him, her, today. Even if you are going to the supermarket. When you look in a shop window and see your reflection, you should not see your past self. You should be surprised to see an elegant, confident stranger. That visual shock reprograms your self-image. Wow, I look like a successful person. I must be one. The brain always seeks coherence. If you look successful, your brain will look for successful thoughts and actions to justify that image. Protocol 3. Preventive generosity, the outflow. This is the most advanced hack. Your future self is generous because they have more than enough. Your present self is stingy because they are afraid. To jump, you have to act with the generosity of the future using the resources of the present. Leave a slightly larger than normal tip, even if it hurts a little. Give an unexpected gift. Dedicate time to listening to someone without looking at the clock. That act of giving before having is the master key. It breaks the linear logic. I will give when I have. It establishes the quantum logic. I have because I give. By giving, you position yourself vibrationally on the side of the providers, not the needy. And the universe always gives more resources to the provider so they can keep distributing. You become a distribution channel for abundance. The imposter syndrome trap. When you start applying this, you will feel ridiculous. You will feel like a fraud. A voice in your head will say, "Who are you trying to fool? You're putting on expensive perfume and your account is in the red. You're pathetic." That voice is the threshold guardian. It is your old ego trying to protect you from disappointment. Don't fight it. Answer it. Thank you for trying to protect me. But I am not pretending to be something I'm not. I am training to be who I am already in another dimension. This is not a lie. It is a trailer for the movie that is coming. Imposter syndrome is in reality growth pain. It means you are stretching. If you felt comfortable, it would mean you are still in your comfort zone, floor 1. The discomfort is proof that you are occupying a new, larger space. Inhabit that discomfort. Hold the pose. Fake it till you become it. Pretend it until you become it. A day will come, perhaps in 3 weeks, perhaps in 2 months when you put on those clothes. Walk with that calmness and touch that luxury object, and you will no longer feel anything special. It will feel normal. It will feel routine. At that moment, you will know that the anchoring is complete. Your internal vibration has reached and assimilated the vibration of the object. It is no longer a desire. It is your standard. And when something becomes your standard, reality has no choice but to give it to you by default. Now you are living in 2 worlds at once. Physically on floor 1, though increasingly decorated like 50. Mentally on floor 50. The 2 realities are getting closer. The tension is maximum. The synchronicities are firing. The old world is crumbling. You are about to experience the fusion. Chapter 10, Fusion of Timelines, the New Normal. You have been through the fire. You have hacked your mind, ignored 3D reality, endured the snapback of the elastic band, and anchored your environment. And one day, you wake up. The sun comes in through the window, you make yourself coffee, and you realize something. The debt is gone. Or your partner hugs you in the kitchen with a quiet love. Or your body doesn't hurt. Or you have signed that millionaire contract. And the strangest thing of all is what you feel. Nothing. There is no violin music. There is no confetti falling from the ceiling. There is no voiceover saying, "Congratulations, you won the game." It simply is. It feels natural. It feels logical. It feels like the obvious next step. In fact, it feels so normal that you're almost a little disappointed. You think, was this it? So much suffering, so much internal work for this. If I had known, I would have relaxed sooner. Welcome to the fusion of timelines. This phenomenon is the definitive proof that the jump has been a total success. If you had achieved the €1,000,000 feeling hysterical euphoria, it would mean that vibrationally you are still not aligned with it. It would mean that you see it as something external or miraculous. And what rises like foam falls like foam. That's why lottery winners lose everything. They have not normalized wealth. But if you achieve it and feel normality, it means that your identity had already moved to floor 50 months ago. For a millionaire, having a million is boring. It is normal. For a healthy person, having no pain is boring. It is normal. Your goal was always to reach this point of the banality of good. When the two timelines, the old 3D reality and the new 5D vision merge, friction disappears. There is no longer you and your desire. Now you are the desire. They are integrated. And because they are integrated, there is no longer magnetic tension. The danger in this phase is not external. It is internal. It is the addiction to drama. Your nervous system has been addicted to cortisol, struggle, uncertainty, and the search for years, perhaps decades. Peace feels suspicious. Stability feels boring. When you reach the fusion and everything is going well, your primitive ego starts getting nervous. Everything is too quiet. Something bad is definitely going to happen. This isn't normal. I'm bored. And then, unconsciously, you start looking for problems where there are none. You provoke an argument with your perfect partner. You spend money foolishly to generate a bit of financial tension. You procrastinate at work to feel the adrenaline of the deadline. You are trying to recreate the old timeline because that is where your chemical addiction feels at home. You are trying to break the toy because you don't know how to play in silence. In this first part, I want you to understand that boredom is success. Real peace of mind is not exciting, it is serene. You have to learn to tolerate well-being. You have to do a detox from cheap dopamine, drama, to start enjoying sustained serotonin, peace. If you have achieved your dream and feel it's not enough, don't fall into the trap of immediately jumping to the next goal. I already have the million, now I want 10. Wait, inhabit the million, enjoy it, integrate the reality. If you are always running toward the next thing, you never arrive anywhere. You are always in the hallway, never in the room. Fusion requires settling time. The fresh concrete of your new reality needs to dry. If you start dancing on it too soon, you will leave footprints and deform it. Stay still. Breathe your new life. Tell yourself, this is my life now. I am safe. I don't need to fight anymore. I can let my guard down. The happiness thermostat avoiding self-sabotage. Gay Hendricks, in his book The Big Leap, talks about a crucial concept for this phase, the upper limit problem. We all have an internal thermostat that regulates how much happiness, money, and love we allow ourselves to feel. If your thermostat is set to level 5 and you suddenly jump to a level 10 timeline, your system goes into red alert. It feels like you are going to explode from so much good. So the subconscious executes a self-sabotage program to return you to level 5, where you feel safe, even if it's mediocre. Sabotage in the fusion phase is subtle and dangerous. Getting sick just before enjoying success, criticizing someone for no reason, to obsessively worrying about something trivial. Since there are no big problems, the brain magnifies the small ones, hiding your success so that others don't envy you, dimming your light. To stabilize the fusion and stay on floor 50 forever, you have to expand your thermostat. You have to teach your nervous system to sustain high loads of positive energy without short-circuiting. Here are the 3 maintenance protocols for the new normal. Protocol 1, breathing through joy. When you feel a wave of happiness or success and notice that small internal contraction, the fear that it will end or the guilt for having so much, do not contract. Do not change the subject. Do not look for a but. Do the opposite. Breathe into the sensation. Imagine that your body is a container and that it is stretching to accommodate more light. Tell your nervous system, it is safe to feel this good. I can handle more. Hold the feeling of well-being 10 seconds longer than is comfortable. By doing this, you are rewiring your tolerance for pleasure. You are raising the thermostat. Protocol 2. Eliminating survivor's guilt. As you stabilize on floor 50, you will look down and see your friends and family still on floor 1, struggling, complaining, and suffering. You will feel a pang of guilt. Why me and not them? I shouldn't enjoy this much in front of them. And you will start pretending you have problems to fit in. You will start going down to floor 1 for a visit and get dirty again. Stop. You cannot save anyone by descending into the pit with them. You can only save them by throwing them a rope from above. Your moral obligation is to be shamelessly happy and successful. Your happiness does not take anything away from them. On the contrary, it proves to them that the elevator works. If you dim your light so as not to bother, you confirm their belief that darkness is inevitable. Be the lighthouse. The lighthouse does not turn off during a storm. It shines brighter so that ships can find the port. If some distance themselves because your light bothers them, let them go. They belong to the old line. New floor 50 companions will arrive. Protocol 3. Preventive gratitude, maintaining the Wi-Fi. Now that you already have it, the risk is taking it for granted and falling asleep again. If you stop vibrating in gratitude, the signal weakens and you can start sliding downward. Gratitude is not just for asking, it is the protective varnish for what you already have. Every morning, take an inventory of your new normal. Thank you for this bed. Thank you for this money that is now normal. Thank you for this love that is now routine. By being grateful for what is already normal, you re-energize it. You keep it shiny. You avoid hedonic adaptation, the phenomenon by which we get used to good things and stop valuing them. Maintain the astonishment of the beginner with the mastery of the veteran, the integration of the shadow. Finally, for the fusion to be solid, you have to accept that on timeline 50, there will also be problems. It is not heaven, it is still earth. There will still be challenges. A tire will go flat. You will catch a cold. The difference is that you are no longer the same. Before a problem destroyed you. Now a problem is just a logistical puzzle. Do not idealize the new line as a place of static and permanent happiness. It is a place of power and freedom. You will have rich people problems instead of poor people problems. You will have growth challenges instead of survival challenges, and those are wonderful problems. Welcome them. They are not signs that you have regressed. They are the material with which you will continue to sculpt your masterpiece. You have landed. The plane wheels have touched the runway. The braking has passed. The plane is slowly heading toward the terminal. You take off your seatbelt. You look out the window and see a new, fertile and bright landscape. It is yours. You have earned it. Not by effort, but by choice. You have traveled through time, you have fooled your old identity, you have crossed the void, and you have landed at the destination that always belonged to you. You are no longer a seeker. You are an inhabitant, you are no longer a jumper, you are a resident. But the journey of the soul never ends at a static destination. Floor 50 is wonderful, yes, but if you look up, you will see that the building is infinite. You will see that there is a floor 100, a floor 500, an infinite floor. Evolution is eternal. Now that you know how to use the elevator, what will be your next adventure? What will you explore now that the fear of survival has disappeared? Conclusion. The time traveler, the end of the map, the beginning of the territory. Breathe deeply. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the weight of your body in the chair or your feet touching the ground. That ground looks the same as the one you stepped on when you started listening to this audiobook. The air smells the same. Your name, legally, is still the same. But you know with a certainty that goes beyond logic that you are no longer the same person. You have crossed the threshold. You started this journey on floor 1, trapped in the illusion of linearity, believing you were a victim of your past, your economy, or your luck. You believed that time was a prison from which you could not escape, and that the future was something you had to build with blood and effort. Now you are standing in the penthouse of your own consciousness. You have discovered the secret that mystics and quantum physicists have tried to whisper to us for millennia. Time is not a line, it is a landscape. And you are the explorer. You look back and see your old life, your old timeline. You no longer see it with resentment. You no longer see it with pain. You see it with the tenderness with which one looks at a photo of their childhood. You see that old self, struggling, worrying, trying to control the uncontrollable, yelling at the radio to change the music. Feel compassion for him. He did the best he could with the level of consciousness he had. He survived so that you could be born. Thank him and let him go. That version of you stayed in the previous frame. It no longer needs to be loaded into today's rendering. The end of the search. The strangest thing about reaching the end of this journey is that you realize that the search is over. We spend our lives searching for success, searching for a partner, searching for peace. The search implies distance. It implies that the object of desire is there and you are here. The timeline jump eliminates the distance. By understanding that all versions of you exist now, the search becomes tuning. You no longer have to run toward the future. You simply have to stop vibrating in the past. You have learned that you do not need to attract anything, because you cannot attract what you already are. If you are already rich on line 50, you do not attract money, you emit money. If you are already love on line 50, you do not search for a partner, you radiate love. The final paradox is that, to have everything, you had to realize that you didn't need anything, because everything was already on your menu waiting for your order. Life as an open-world game. Now that you have the remote control for the multiverse, life changes genre. It stops being a survival drama and becomes an open-world exploration game. Before, you woke up with fear. What will happen to me today? Will I be able to pay the bills? Will they love me? Now you wake up with scientific curiosity. What timeline will I activate today with my attention? What miracles has my quantum double prepared? What synchronicities will I find? The fear of making a mistake disappears. How can you make a mistake if you know that infinite paths exist? If you jump to a timeline and you don't like it, it is not a life sentence, it is just a channel you don't like. Turn the dial. Jump again. You have regained sovereignty. You have stopped being a non-playable character, NPC, who repeats scripts programmed by society to become the player. And the player knows that the game is not serious. The game is important, yes, but it is not grave. If you lose a life, if you lose money, if you fail, you laugh. You shake off the dust, and you restart the level with more wisdom. The power of nothing. On this journey, you have learned to love the void. Before, silence terrified you. You needed noise, distraction, constant validation. Now you know that the void is God's workshop. You know that when things seem stagnant, it is because the universe is gaining momentum for the slingshot effect. You have learned to inhabit no time. You have learned to sit in a coffee shop, have a coffee, and feel that at that precise moment, you lack nothing. That you are complete. That the present moment is the only point of access to eternity. That invulnerable peace is your greatest treasure. They can take away your money. You can manifest it again. They can take away your fame. But no one can take away your ability to connect with your double and navigate the storm. That is true security. Not the security of having things, but the security of knowing that you know how to create things. Your quantum responsibility. But power entails responsibility. Now that you know you are the observer who collapses reality, you no longer have excuses. You can no longer blame the government, the economy, your parents, or your ex. If your reality is a disaster, it is because you are observing the disaster and validating it every morning. You are the screenwriter, the director, and the main actor. If the movie is bad, rewrite the script. This radical responsibility may seem heavy at first, but it is the only door to real freedom. It means that never, under any circumstance, are you a victim. Even in the worst situations, you have the ultimate freedom. The freedom to choose which timeline to tune into internally. Viktor Frankl did it in a concentration camp. Mandela did it in a cell. You can do it in your office, in your house, or in your traffic jam. Your mind is the only territory that no one can conquer. without your permission, the infinite upward. Perhaps you ask yourself, and now what? I have already jumped to floor 50. I have the money, the health, and the love. Is the game over? That's where the universe smiles. The building has no ceiling. Floor 50 seems like paradise now because you came from the basement. But once you get used to floor 50, once wealth and peace are your new normal, you will look up and you will see floor 100. You will see levels of love, creativity, spiritual connection, and contribution to the world that you cannot even imagine now. You will see that desire never fades, because desire is the engine of the expansion of the universe through you. But the difference is that you will no longer desire from lack. I need that to be happy. You will desire from fullness. I am happy, and I want to play at that higher level. You will desire for the pure joy of seeing how far you can go. You will become a master of the art of living. You will begin to jump timelines not only to save yourself, but to help others. You will become a frequency anchor for your family, your community, your world. Your mere presence will stabilize the chaos around you. People will look at you and say, I don't know what they have, but when I'm near him, her, I feel like anything is possible. That is your legacy. Not what you achieve, but the frequency you leave impregnated in the world. The last jump. We are reaching the end of this transmission. My words will end in a few seconds. Silence will return, and you will be left alone with your reality. You may be tempted to fall asleep again. The inertia of the world is strong. The gravity of floor 1 will pull on you. Your friends will talk about crisis. The news will sell you fear. Your old mind will tell you, be realistic. In those moments, remember this audiobook. Remember that you have a secret technology installed in your consciousness. Remember 1111. Remember your double waiting for your order tonight. Remember that reality is soft clay in your hands. Do not fall asleep again. You have seen what is behind the curtain. You cannot unsee it. You already know that the magician is you. So go out there. Go out into the 3D world with your quantum secret in your pocket. Play with reality. Test the universe. Challenge it. Ask it for the impossible. Watch how coincidences begin to weave a magic carpet beneath your feet. Do not be afraid to let go of the old. Do not be afraid to jump into the void. The void is not empty. It is full of the energy of who you are going to be.